So a little while ago, another YouTuber named If You Willem sent me a bunch of stuff in the mail to make a tiny crossbow. Now he made the same crossbow on his channel and it works pretty well as far as little crossbows made from bits and pieces go. Now I'm going to make essentially the same crossbow that he made. I'm going to make a lot of cosmetic changes though, because I want my crossbow to fit in with my Wastelander Pikachu costume. If you follow my channel, you'll know what that thing's about. If you don't follow my channel, essentially I made a costume of someone who lives in like a apocalyptic wasteland but also worships Pikachu. It actually doesn't make sense, it's just cool. Anyway, let's get crossbowing. Okay, so basically I've cut out 3 pieces for the main body. That's the middle bit. This bit goes on this side, this bit goes on this side, and there you go. Bang, 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 crossbow, crossbow. Yep, that sounds like it's working. You can see inside there's a huge recess where all the trigger mechanisms will go later. These suckers gotta get glued together now and then sanded. Okay, while that's drying, I'm gonna make the bow part of the crossbow. And the bow is gonna be some PVC. Now, is PVC the best thing to make a bow out of? No, probably the best thing would be a bow. But I'm gonna keep it for 2 reasons. One, it really fits in with the whole Wastelander vibe that I'm going for, where all the bits should look like they've been salvaged from an apocalyptic desert. Also, most people that make stuff regularly will have scraps like this lying around. Needs to be flat though, so I'm gonna use a heat gun and 2 bits of wood to kind of flatten it down a bit. Okay, this boy is sanded down and it's pretty smooth. If you were going to make this crossbow and leave it with the wood showing, you might go down to a finer grit than what I did. I'm going to add a lot of stuff though. The handle's going to get a leather wrap. There's going to be some stuff attached up here. So I didn't worry about the sanding job being too perfect. Now, because this is a Wastelander crossbow and it's meant to look like it was cobbled together from parts in a wasteland, I'm going to paint the body now. The reason I'm painting it now is because I want any feature I add on to really stand out and look separate from the body itself. Usually you would want to make your piece look cohesive and look like everything is meant to be where it is. I don't want that. I want this to look like bits were added randomly every now and then. Some stuff was added one day, some stuff was added a year later when it was found in the desert. Wasteland. Okay, so got a couple of holes drilled in this boy. These ones over here are going to be for the bolts that hold the trigger mechanism, and this one here is going to be for the actual PVC bow part to go in later on. Now, speaking of the trigger mechanism, Willem, who sent me all this stuff, also sent me 3D parts for the trigger mechanism. I'm just watching the original video Willem put up about how to actually put together the trigger mechanism. I'm not going to go into crazy detail about how it works. If you want to build this crossbow for yourself and you can't get it from what I'm showing you here, check out Willem's video. It's linked in the description. Now let's put a trigger into this gun. Just making sure my neighbors aren't listening to me. Oh, what's that? You're wondering what that awesome painting of Spider-Man's doing there? That just so happens to be a reward for someone who supports me on Patreon. That's going to get sent out to them. If you're interested in a painting of something you choose or a prop being sent to you, then check out my Patreon, link in the description. I'm not very good at winking. Okay, so you just saw me heating up the bow, bending it and putting in the notches for the bowstring. That's not in focus, who cares? One thing that I'm going to try for the bowstring is the wrapping from this Deathstroke sword. If you follow my channel, you'll know that a little while ago I did some tests on a cheap internet Deathstroke sword, and the first thing that broke on the sword, and pretty much the only thing that broke, was the handle wrapping. Let's see if this works as a bowstring. I mean, kind of. This could also have something to do with the fact that I have no idea how to properly tie a bowstring. I'll work on it. Okay, so what I ended up using was this nylon rope stuff that I had to go and buy. It's probably not the absolute best thing to use, but I think it's a good balance between being able to shoot stuff and also looking kind of wastelandery. You're probably thinking, how could someone in a wasteland 3D print parts for a trigger mechanism? Shut up, just go with it. Props don't make sense always. I'll show you how this thing shoots later on. For now, it's time to make this thing look better. Alright, so the crossbow is pretty much complete. It's really fun making Wastelander stuff because you have to try and make something look as if it wasn't designed to look good, but also because it's a prop, it kind of does have to be visually appealing. It's a really weird balance to find. I like making Wastelander stuff though, because you have to add things that don't really make sense. There might be a part to the weapon that looks like it doesn't really have any functional purpose. And maybe it doesn't have a purpose, but that becomes a part of the prop's story. Perhaps that random screw was a part of an attachment that got taken off when the previous owner got killed. That kind of stuff is cool though, it gives a prop some depth. And speaking of depth, let's see how deep I can fire a crossbow bolt into some targets. When I say crossbow bolt, I went Wastelander on those too. I made them out of various things I found in my shed, like dowel, pencils, and even a scalpel that I just attached some cardboard to the back of. I got my Pikachu Wastelander suit on, let's try this thing out. Okay, the first arrow I'm using is dowel with some feathers attached. Now let's try the pencil bolt. It goes crooked. Let's try a screwdriver. Oh, let's try the scalpel bolt. That was dumb. Now I've got to find a scalpel over there somewhere. Wastelands must be so dangerous for your feet. That still counts. So maybe I need to practice my aiming, but this thing does work. I tried to find a balance here between functional and prop. There are tons of changes you could make though if you wanted to make it more functional or more of a prop. Sure, you can work that out for yourself. Hey, if you'd like a little sneak peek of my Pikachu Wastelander costume that you just saw, then check out the full video where I talk about the finished thing and do a photo shoot in a weird wasteland. And here's the video of me chopping up stuff with that Deathstroke sword. Thank you for watching. Smash that like button. Shoot that like button with a crossbow, I should say. That wasn't funny.